It's quite possible when we use get and post to pass variables from one page to another for a variable to be missing. In the case of get, where the variable is part of the URL, a user can change or delete that part of the URL. And in the case of post, which is used most for passing data from a form, an input box in the form could be left empty. As our scripts are at the moment, if the variable's not set in the URL for get or in the form for post, the script will fail with a system error. Let's demonstrate this with the get version first. Open up send.html again in your browser and click on the link. And as expected, you'll be taken to get.php, which will echo out the value of the variable set in the URL, in this case 10. If you change the value in the URL to anything else, the new value will be echoed out with no problem, because we've done nothing to filter out non-numerical data, so anything will be accepted. And it will continue to work even if you delete the value and leave the URL ending in a trailing equals sign, because the variable's set even though its value is empty. But if you delete the $user ID equals part of the URL or change the variable name in any way, you'll get a system error, undefined index. And, looking at form.php, the first time the script runs, we get this same undefined index error, because the value of the variable content has not been set anywhere. To avoid this, and to make the scripts able to fail gracefully or take some sort of appropriate action, we need to prevent the script from trying to access non-existent variables. We do this using isSet, which checks whether or not the variable is set. Let's do this first of all in get.php. So open it up in Komodo Edit, and we're going to wrap the variable assignment and the echo statement inside an if statement. So if, and then it's parentheses, open and closing braces surrounding the main part of the code that echoes out the value of the variable. And then inside the parentheses for the if statement put isSet and its parentheses. And then inside the parentheses for isSet, $_get and its square brackets and single quote marks. And inside the single quotes the name of the variable as it appears in the URL, user ID. So this tests whether or not $_get has found user ID in the URL. And then inside the braces we want the code that we had before, to assign the value found with that name in the URL to the variable user ID, and then echoing out the message with the value of the variable just as before. But this time it will only run if the variable has actually been set. Then we can catch the eventuality of a missing user ID in the URL by using an else clause, which will execute if $_get user ID is not set. So else and its braces, and inside the braces we echo out a message that doesn't use user ID. So a simple string echo user ID not set. This prevents system errors when the variable we're looking for in the URL is not set. So whenever we use $_get or $_post, we will wrap the variable assignment inside an if isSet statement in this way. Now, you do the same in form.php without copying from this file, so that the post version is similarly protected against a missing variable.